So, a council that was criticised for issuing a fine to a man with a weakened prostate who relieved himself in a lay-by has handed out hundreds of penalties for the same offence on the road. The policy emerged after, get this, the name of the council, Dacorum Borough Council, slapped a driver with an £88 fixed penalty notice when he stopped on the A41 near Kings Langley in Hertfordshire. Okay? So, official figures have now revealed an astonishing 98% of its 776 fines for public urination last year related to lay-bys on the same dual carriageway. Which part of cha-ching did we miss? Yeah. It wasn't that long ago, ladies and gentlemen. And the disillusioned, that you could confidently find, no matter where you went, that there was a number of public, shall we say, conveniences, to go and have that pee, to go and relieve oneself. Because that used to be a thing with councils. You will notice more and more that's not a thing with councils. Now, you could argue it's a different case entirely in a built-up area, in a city, and all the rest of it, public urination. Yeah, I get it. But when you are, faced with no alternatives, and it wasn't that long ago, I'll say maybe a few decades, but then I do say that about most things. I remember actually, when would it have been? Would have been about 85. Anyway, I was heading, it was Portsmouth. It would be 85, and I'd stopped off in London. I'd got the bus from Edinburgh to London, and I think I had a pint, possibly two. Oh, this would be, honestly, it really would be about 85. Anyway, gets on the bus, the coach, on the next part of the journey from London to Portsmouth. And, there was no loo in the bus. So at some stage in that journey, I managed to convince the bus driver that I really wasn't joking. I was absolutely desperate to relieve myself. So he stopped the bus. I don't think anybody's nose really got bent out of shape, because I'm sure we've all been there, but that was back in a day where that was more of a thing and people didn't burst into tears, because it was more of a thing for decades. Now, I'm not suggesting that people waved their wands of joy and all the rest of it to all and sundry as they relieved themselves, whatever, but there was a time where common sense prevailed, but also a time where councils provided much needed, places to go in with confidence and know and budget that into your journey to factor it in. But as I said, we're now in, and by the day, have you not noticed this, that councils and big business are but one and the same? And of course, the Masonic aspect between the two, because both are controlled by, the same entities. Yeah. So we live in a business, and that becomes more apparent by the day. And so, yes, legal experts have questioned the definition, and critics accuse it of using drivers as cash cows. Because seriously, there wasn't that long ago that people, even by default, you'd see it, side of the road, somebody, they're obviously, they'd maybe have their child out having a pee, whatever else. Nobody batted an eyelid, because they knew they were in areas where there wasn't a lot of, options. As long as you do it discreetly, it shouldn't be an issue. But we live in a business. So Tony Leach, 73, who recently stopped to spend a penny after setting off from Maidstone in Kent to attend his granddaughter's 18th birthday, said when he finished, he found an official recording him. I chose a spot that was unlikely to cause offence to anybody, he told the BBC, but when I turned around, there was a guy right behind me who said I was on camera and that he was issuing me with a fixed penalty notice for an apparent breach of the Environmental Protection Act. I was pretty cheesed off. Now, I wonder how that went. Maybe my worst Clint Eastwood impression out of Dirty Harry. Yeah. Man's got to know his limitations. Was that what the guy with the camera was maybe thinking to himself? Or, hey, punk, do you feel lucky? Because you've really got to question the character of an individual who's literally been paid to watch people have relieve themselves. Knowing full well that it's a common occurrence because the lack of a facility. Yeah. Seriously. Dear. Righty. My comment was, you'd think the council would have the decorum to provide public loos where needed. Oh, and fix the roads. So far, 37 thumbs up, 1 thumbs down. Best rated. What are lorry drivers supposed to do? Nowhere but laybys for them to park, particularly for Arctics. They are in there all day, and it can take many hours to travel between delivery points. It means lots of our lorry drivers don't drink at all during the day and become dehydrated and cause themselves bodily harm. And obviously others, because if they're not at their best mentally, while driving anywhere between, 20 and 40 tons a day, yeah, I mean, I've long said that lorry drivers, it's a vastly underappreciated and deliberately thankless trade these days. A profession, I would argue. But when you've got uncontrolled immigration with the plan of just destroying anybody's livelihoods to the point that, it's just... Because let's face it, when it comes to lorry drivers, they're away from home an awful lot, Their food is substandard because they don't have the facilities there. Simple as, by and large. The stress of being on the road for so long, all the rest of it, and people could say, well, they signed up for it, but really, come on, and look at the value in what they bring. Seriously. Yeah, look, I'm old enough, 56, to this day have an awful lot of respect for lorry drivers on the road, and if they're needing to get out or whatever else they need to overtake, hey, we flash, blah, blah, blah. If I'm overtaken, we acknowledgement, blah, 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 indicate, respect. Because I know their life's not that easy, that's for sure. But absolutely, absolutely needed. Remember all you can't talk about the name of the scamdemic, but, that we're talking about first responders. I was so impressed and grateful to delivery drivers and lorry drivers. Yeah. But they weren't quite, they weren't thanked because they want to go to autonomous everything. So why would you start validating the existence of something you want to destroy? Like, for example, human interaction on 40 tons of death with a life experience. You could talk about this for hours, but... I'll speak to you soon.